WTBQ. Hi again, it's Alan Ross, President and CEO of AJ Ross Creative Media. Welcome to Creative Marketing on WTBQ. Every week we'll be discussing different topics and trends that can help market your business. If you would like to call us and ask a question or want to give your input, you can call us at 845-651-1110. Again, 845-651-1110. We are also live streaming on Facebook.com/AJ Ross Creative. Again, Facebook.com/AJ Ross Creative. Why do I have a hard time, Carlos, saying Facebook.com/?
It's just too much. Just too much to bubble out.
Today, my guest is Krista Orsino, and she's Vice President, Development and Community Relationships Development Director for Orange County Citizens Foundation. That's a paragraph.
Another mouthful.
Yeah, and also I have today sitting in is, believe it or not, is my best friend, my college roommate from 50 years ago, Chip Pratt, and he has a company. Why don't you tell us what the name of your company is?
Well, my company's called Actual Diminished Value, and we actually do actual appraisals for cars that have been hit by other drivers and have lost their value. And we
Great.
help you collect from your insurance company.
Thank you. And as I told you 50 years ago, be quiet. Okay. No. My best friend of all time. So let's, we'll talk a little bit about what you do, Chip, later. I want to talk to Krista Orsino.
Orsino.
And I'm looking at a lot of things. You are the real deal. You are a real marketing director that you've done work for many years. And why don't you explain what a marketing director does?
Sure. So my experience, as you said, spans many years. I'm not going to say how many. And it's both in the for-profit and nonprofit.
Okay.
And the messaging, the marketing function in each of those is a little bit different. But overall, it's about getting the word out about what it is that you do, why you do it, what you provide, what service or product, and how people can have that.
The reason we just met a week or two ago.
We did.
And we're going to be working together, I think, on the Citizen Foundation's new rebrand.
That's correct.
And it was so... well, let me put it this way. I've worked with a lot of marketing directors. And some marketing directors know what they're doing. Some don't. But a good marketing director who works with an agency wants a good agency to help her or him help the company become more successful.
Yes.
And I've noticed a lot of and Carlos, you can chime in on this too. I've noticed some marketing directors are a little intimidated by a good ad agency because they think we're going to take their job. And that's just not true.
Agree. It is not true.
Yeah.
What you do for marketing directors, for development people, is instrumental in them doing their job well.
Yeah. Carlos, do you have anything to...
No, I mean, I think she's hitting it right on the point. It's pretty much adding a department to give functionality to what you can't do. Or, a marketing director is well-rounded, but there's certain expertises that you need assistance with, or just the general labor part of it.
Absolutely correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Delivery of everything.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's so much work that has to be done as far as branding, and, we're just another arm of the marketing director. And to me, if I do a great job, it makes our marketing director even look better.
Absolutely. And it makes our job easier because you're enhancing our ability to get that message out there. And that's the ultimate goal.
Right. So tell us a little bit about your background. Tell us, I have your resume here, but I'd rather you go through it
Sure.
kind of quickly.
Well, most of my marketing and development career was in the healthcare arena. So, it was in hospitals, healthcare agencies, rehabilitation companies, that kind of thing. That was kind of where I started. Went into some pharmaceutical for a while, and then transitioned over into development work for nonprofits, which is, believe it or not, very similar to traditional marketing branding for-profit companies. It's just a lot more fun because you're doing it for a really good cause and
Right.
something that you believe in. There's a little more passion versus selling widgets.
Right.
So that transition happened about 6 or 7 years ago, and I'm really enjoying it. And now that included also some healthcare, a stroke awareness organization that I founded and did development work for, and also a domestic violence agency here locally, Safe Homes. And now for the Orange County Citizens Foundation, which is, looking at quality of life for everybody who lives in Orange County, lives, works. It's kind of the citizens advocate.
Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about the Citizens Foundation a little bit, but what have you seen? Let's go back. We'll start 10-5 and now. What have you seen the trends of marketing and advertising from 10 years ago on to now?
Yeah, big changes. I mean, obviously, it used to be that you could you were the information purveyor about your product or your service. Like, let me provide you with information about what it is that we do, what it is that we sell, and that's why you need to buy it. Now information is readily available with the internet, a lot of information all day long, every minute. So it's no longer the purveyors of information. It's more like you want to pay for their attention. And how do you get their attention?
Right.
By good storytelling, by good graphics, by great videos, by, just sort of really offering an experience of your product
Okay.
versus an instructional perspective like it used to be.
And we're also seeing that digital. You mentioned it, but we could to the penny know where that money's going.
Yeah.
But we talk a lot, and Carlos, you can chime in if you want. Is all the social medias, which is it's just part of marketing and branding your company, but it's still what we're doing here face to face is still the closer, as far as I'm concerned.
It is. The relationships are always the foundation of it all. But, you really do have to have that whole component of digital in any marketing, branding, or development, and you have to be much more fluid because your analytics are going to drive what you do.
Right.
So if, like you said, you can instantaneously see if people are visiting your page, if they're clicking on your links that you're providing in your ads online or your posts.
Right.
And if they're not, then you need to do something else.
Well, let's do a little exercise. I have Chip here. He owns a company. What he does is when you have a car accident or you get hurt and your car, if I'm wrong, just chime in, Chip, but if you have an accident and the insurance company gives you a bunch of money, but the car is worth a lot more than what they're giving you, he goes and works with lawyers and people and appraises it and gets more money. Am I correct, Chip?
Yeah, that's exactly correct. It has nothing to do whether you're injured or not. It has to do with Old English tort law, because your personal property has been damaged by somebody due to their negligence. And in today's age of digital information, there's outfits like Carfax, but there's also many other reporting outfits. In the very instant your car's hit, it's worth a significant amount less because nobody wants to buy somebody's damaged goods. So what we do is help you file a claim with the at-fault driver's insurance company, and that's key, the at-fault driver's insurance company, not yours, to recover the loss to your vehicle because of the negligence that created the damage to your, and this is key, personal property. So in a nutshell, that's it.
So we know what his company is. So we're going to do a little exercise. Carlos, I want you involved. Chip has just parted way with one of his partners, and it wasn't a good parting, and the company's doing well, but he needs to go after a lot of his business is through personal injury lawyers who have these clients that they got injured, and they send him, and he goes and appraises. So he's visiting. He's been here for 4 or 5 days. It's been wonderful. And so he came in and he says, yeah, we need to get some new attorneys and blah, blah. So Carlos and I, and we're going to talk, what did we recommend that he start doing, Carlos? And then you can chime in, and Krista, and tell us what you would recommend.
Well, just as a in-house kind of thing that Chip can do himself, we started talking about collecting lists of attorneys in areas that he wants to target. Right now it's Orlando, Gainesville, places like that. From there, starting a campaign that's both digital and a little more traditional. So launching out an email campaign to create awareness the same day, sending out a collateral piece and a personal letter to those individuals and all those attorneys. Then following it up after 3 days with another email campaign and a third one. Then tracking that digital campaign to see who's coming through, who's clicking on, what law firms and things of that nature, so he can start to turn what would normally be a cold call into somewhat of a warm response. Somebody that already has awareness about him. Just as an in-house thing that they can do themselves.
That's great.
So we're doing a video, 2 videos, one to go to attorneys, and one to go actually to people who have been in car accidents.
And we're going to build a landing page for him that speaks specifically to this audience and campaign.
And then we're going to do a boost.
We're going to do some social media with it as well. That's what we're going to do on our end. But what I was talking about in the beginning is just what Chip can do on his end in-house.
And your thoughts?
I think it's perfect. I mean, I love that you're both targeting the attorneys, and that's probably, a little more specific and methodical in how you can reach out to them, but also the consumer, because I didn't know this was an option. And if I don't know, I'm sure many people don't know. So to have a video that's geared for the actual person who's involved in the car accident, or could be at some point, or just knowing about it for future use, I think is really important. And that's where a lot of these new things that you guys do so well come into play. The great video, the experiential, the great graphic, the sort of conversational messaging to everyone. I think it's great. This is why we all need to hire people like you, Alan, because it's a multi-platform. It's across a lot of different areas, and that's the key.
And you said something earlier too about a story. And that's really, really important in today's marketing, because that's what people follow is a story.
That's right.
We touched on that before with content marketing, and that's essentially what it is.
In the nonprofit world, it's really interesting. It's, again, like I said, similar to for-profit and marketing, but basically, used to be you could say, hey, donate to this nonprofit. We need your help, and appeal to people in that way. Now everybody wants a story. So the best nonprofits have a protagonist, somebody who's benefiting from what it is their mission is doing.
Okay, we're going to go to break, and we'll be right back. This is Creative Marketing on WTBQ.
A.J. Ross Creative Media is the premier marketing, advertising agency, web design, and social media company in the Hudson Valley. A.J. Ross connects their clients with prospective customers by generating powerful marketing and advertising concepts. Meet with the A.J. Ross team and you'll walk away with a new and innovative approach that'll bring your company to the next level. Contact the A.J. Ross team and set up a free consultation and get started with the best. Visit ajross.com.
Hi, this is Greenwood Lake Mayor Jesse Dwyer, host of the Greenwood Lake Radio Show. Tune in on Fridays at 11 a.m., call in, text in, and learn everything there is Greenwood Lake, right here on WTBQ, radio worth listening to.
If you missed the Frank Truett Show, here's what you missed.
Everybody says boycott China, but if you ask the average guy on the street, hey, for this pair of pants that you can buy in Walmart for $15, would you rather buy it for $45?
Yes.
Most people are going to say no.
The last couple of shirts I bought are not from there. They are from
Sears.
No, Vietnam, actually. So,
oh, God.
It's true. This is true.
Help me.
And that's a subject for a whole nother day, I'm sure.
Let's let Zach have the round table.
The Frank Truett Show, weekday mornings till 9 on WTBQ.
WTBQ. Hi, this is Alan Ross. We're back with Creative Marketing. I have Krista Orsino, who's the Vice President of Development of Citizens Foundation. And Chip Pratt, who, what's the name of your company?
Actual Diminished Value.
There you go. Say it again, please.
Actual Diminished Value.
There you go.
Actual Diminished Value.
There you go. Quiet down there. Anyway, so, it's great to have Chip here. We we go back a long, long time, man. We've been very close friends, and we might not see each other for a year or two, but we talk. And we're on my porch last night, and we just talk for hours. You know, it's like,
Nice.
you know, so
Yeah.
it's really a blessing to have a friend. And we went to Connecticut yesterday to do a memorial for his mom. It was just a family thing. So let's talk about Citizens Foundation. What's going on? What are you doing? You've been there for a year?
Yes, a
You
little
wanna-
over a year. And
And you work with Nancy Proyak.
I do. Nancy
How do you-
Proyak is
how
our
do you do that?
president. How do I do that? Nancy's fabulous.
I know. I love her. I'm kidding. I know she's listening, so I had to put a little jab in there because she would have done it to me. So, go ahead.
Yeah. So, like Chip's company, you know, Orange County Citizens Foundation has been around a long time, but a lot of people don't know about us, which is why we're partnering with you to try to rebrand and get our message out in a better way. But for nearly 50 years, Orange County Citizens Foundation is a nonprofit that is dedicated to improving quality of life in Orange County. The people that are associated with it, which are some really amazing people over the years, take a look at what the county needs, and we'll seed organizations like Honor Flight was seeded by us, Leadership Orange, Orange County Arts Council, the Community Foundation, and the Orange County Land Trust. Those were all our organizations that we started.
You started those
We
and put them
started
into
them
being. Yeah.
and had a part as part of a team in starting them. And we also seeded some park spaces. We started the Heritage Trail, which everyone really enjoys in this county, and the D&H Canal Park and the Orange County Arboretum.
Steve Newhouse was very much involved with the Heritage Trail, wasn't he?
Yes,
Yeah, he was, like,
We
very
worked
into-
with Steve. And, you know, so now we're working on transportation issues. We're working to help complete the study of Route 17 so that we can look into getting a third lane there, which has been talked about for a really long time. Increasing train service to Port Jervis. There's a lot happening there. It's booming. Workforce development. We're also doing a lot of downtown recreation, revitalization through our placemaking initiative. So we're
Yeah.
working with Chester and Maybrook and Cornwall.
That's great.
Yeah.
So we sat down, and I know Nancy and the organization for years and years.
Yes.
And we're sitting, and I said, "What do you guys do?"
Right. Exactly.
You know, Citizens Foundation. I mean, you know, and I've been to the galas, and you know, and now, I mean, it's not a foundation where you give money away.
Correct.
It's an organization where you oversee for the good of the population and the citizens of Orange County, and with all these different things. And I guess Carlos, you, Matthew, and I are going to sit down and we're going to figure out a name
That's correct.
and a brand.
Yeah.
And we're going to tell the people what wonderful things you guys have been doing for many, many years.
Yes, and you know, getting a great message out and letting people know through our name and our tagline what we do is definitely of utmost importance. But what's been a real problem is that people assume we are what we are not. Orange County Citizens Foundation implies we are a county agency, which we are not. We are all privately funded. Everything we do is private. And we are not a foundation in that we don't give money away to people, individuals, that kind of
That's
thing.
more the other
The
organization.
Community Foundation, which we're constantly being confused with.
Yes.
So those barriers don't allow people to know who we are, and that's why we're partnering with you to change that. We're really
great.
excited about it.
Yeah, and I was kidding about Nancy. I love Nancy. And,
I know.
And Maureen Hallahan, I've worked a lot with.
Yes.
Carlos and I have worked a lot with. You have a question, Carlos, or some input? No?
No, I mean, you know, this is exactly what we were talking about last week
About
on the radio
rebranding.
shows, rebranding. And really the biggest challenge is starting with, you know, explaining what an organization does. Or, you know, one of the things you were saying is that, you know, misconception of you guys donating money because the term foundation in there.
That's right. That is a real problem, because then, you know, it gives the message out like we're here to give money away, when in reality we're membership supported. We're a membership organization. It's a great community that people can be a part of, that really care about this county and care about how it's developed and the way it's developed, which is just as important as the development itself, is how it progresses.
And the quality of life that you mentioned before, too.
Yeah,
That's right.
I mean, and that's a no-brainer. We'll definitely get that together. And we also talked about all these organizations, and they said, well, they've been on their own. Well, you know, you're the PepsiCo of the Taco Bell.
That's right.
Okay, and one of the things we're recommending is all these organizations that you have done helped come back into the fold and say nice things about the Citizens Foundation. You
That's
know,
right.
and
That's
you know.
right.
And I think that's very important, you know. So.
Yes, and it's relationship building because a lot of the people who are running those organizations today may not be aware that they were seeded by the Citizens Foundation years ago.
Yeah, so, you know, there's a lot of non-for-profits, a lot of people, a lot of organizations asking for a lot of money. And when you do ask for donors and money, it's to give back to the population.
That's right. The money goes right back into the community.
Yeah.
You know, that's our one and only mission.
Right. So, Chip, you have anything to say? What's the name of your company?
Actual diminished value.
Oh, okay. Great. Thank you. Carlos, you have anything, a question or a topic, you know?
Well, I think one of the things, you know, it was interesting you guys were talking about a little bit before is coming into this role with your background and experience and, you know, talking about rebranding. What are some of the challenges you saw before you even reached out to us?
Well, you know, people don't generally like change. It's something that you find no matter where you are.
Boards don't like change.
Yes. Well, many don't.
Many people don't like change.
Yes, they really don't. And, you know, this, like I noted, the Citizens Foundation has been around for nearly 50 years. So me coming in as the new development person saying, well, we need to change the name was a lot. So we're working on easing into it a little bit and retaining. It's very important that we maintain the sense, the values, the organization itself, the heart of the organization. That's really important. And I think as long as we maintain that, it really doesn't matter what we do to the name.
And I'm really glad you said that too, because that's what a lot of people have a misconception of coming in, and you have to be very careful in your wording, especially when speaking to people that have been part of an organization or company for a very long time, is, you know, using terms like evolving and things like this, because you don't want that misconception internally either of, we're just going to scrap everything you did and start over. It's
right.
really just evolving the brand, which every corporation does, every company does.
That's right. It's building on it.
It really is. And that legacy is the foundation of it.
It is,
and
it just needs to be explained better, that's all. And hopefully,
you know, what we found, you know, even with our organization, because there's such a misconception with its name and it working behind the scenes so frequently, people not really knowing and seeing it out there, people don't get it until they come to one of our events or our symposiums, and they see the people that are involved, and they see the discussions that are going on, and the education that's being provided, and the focus on quality of life here, how it affects each individual person. Then they get it. Then they're like, wow, I want to be part of this organization. I want to support this organization. I want to partner with you.
And that's where the story is really
That's
important,
right.
because we were talking about this last week too. With a lot of brands out there, they don't become synonymous with what they do until a story's been told over a certain period of time where people start to understand it. There's so many brands out there that don't make sense on their own if
It's
you
true.
have nothing else around it.
That's right.
And I think that's one of the great things that we'll be doing moving forward is starting to build that story out.
That's right. And one of the things we started doing before we partnered with you guys is we have a great marketing person, associate. Her name is Jacqueline. I call her Little J. I think that's her rapper name, I told her. She is a millennial, and I think it's important to have someone who's in the age group that you're trying to reach out to doing some part in the marketing. She understands social media in a way that I won't, right? Because I didn't grow up with it. She has the voice of a millennial that, you know, can cross many channels and reach someone in a way that's meaningful. So it's great to work with her. Often, you know, she might find some of my marketing ideas corny, but we can combine corny with the new and come out with some really nice messaging. So we've really, you know, amped up our social media and have a lot more followers, a lot more interest in that area. So, you know, that's a good start.
And even just different stems to the same story. Like you said, you know, there's multi-generational in this target that we're trying to reach. So it's great to have that voice for her generation and, you know, voices for all the others too.
That's right.
It's not going to be one straight story.
It's true. It's true.
Does she still live at home?
She does.
Okay. Millennium. Okay. How much time do we have? 3 minutes. Okay. Well, yes, go ahead.
I just want to, let everybody know about some really cool things that are coming up that they might want to be part of that the Citizens Foundation is doing. I talked to you about that downtown revitalization. We have a placemaking tour. These events are free. By the way, all these events that I'm mentioning, they're free and open to the public. Placemaking tour that's happening in the village of Chester on October 13th, and that's where we do a walkabout and we take a look at what they want to keep, what they want to build upon, and how they want to shift it. Then we have 3 political debates, campaign debates that we're hosting. We're partnering with the Times Herald Record. The Senate seat debate with Jen Metzger and Annie Rabbit, that will be in Middletown School District. The Senate seat debate with, that one was on October 23rd. This next one is on October 24th, and that's Tom Basili and James Skoufis. That's going to be in the lobby of the Ritz Theater in Newburgh. And the last one is the Congress debate on October 30th with Sean Patrick Maloney versus James O'Donnell. And we haven't actually nailed down the place where that's going to occur yet, but that is happening. And you can visit our website at www.occitizensfoundation.org to get more information on those.
We're going to have to charge for that now. That was
We'll just work it into the
that
fees.
was like a commercial there, you know what I mean? So, well, we have a minute left. It was wonderful having you on the show. And Chip, what's the name of your company?
Actual diminished value.
Yeah. And Carlos, any closing comments in the last 30 seconds?
No, I think it was really great getting a little perspective from the marketing director side of things.
Yeah.
And it's really good to let everybody hear that, because a lot of times when we walk into a room, to work with somebody, there can be a little hesitancy, and it's really good to see the advantages of it.
Well, I like Carlos is here and Chip. I'm going to ask you to come and be a cohort occasionally when I have other guests.
I would love to.
You're terrific.
Thank you.
It's really
Thank
good.
you. This was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. So again, this is Creative Marketing. I'm Alan Ross from AJ Ross Creative Media. We got about 30 seconds left. I want to thank Krista for being here from the Citizens Foundation.
Don't forget to ask Chip the name of his company.
Great to have Chip Pratt here. What's the name of your company?
Actual diminished value.
Okay. And again, I'm Alan Ross, AJ Ross Creative Media. You can go on our website at ajross.com. And we'll speak to you and see you next week.